Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thanks to all of the witnesses for being here. Mr. Nunes-Neto, if I could just start with you. You are the Acting Assistant Secretary for Border and Immigration Policy at DHS. Is that right?
That is right, Senator.
So it's your role then to help formulate and drive policy and implement those policies at the department. Have I got that right?
Correct.
So help me understand the administration's policy. Are you trying to stop illegal immigration anymore, or have you given up on that?
Sir, we are committed to enforcing the laws that Congress has enacted at the border. And as I noted in my testimony, we are expanding our use of expedited removal as we prepare for the end of Title 42, particularly for recidivist border crossers.
Okay, so that sounds like a yes. So that's a yes. You're still trying to stop illegal immigration? It's hard to tell, but you're telling me yes?
That is correct, sir.
Okay, so let's just talk about a few of your policies, since you're in charge of policy, and you can tell me which of these has been effective in stopping illegal immigration. Okay, ending construction of the border wall. Has that been effective in stopping illegal immigration?
Well, I would defer to my colleague from Customs and Border Protection, but my understanding is that barriers on the border serve to slow irregular migration, not stop irregular migration.
But so, okay, so you're saying that the border wall is not effective. So maybe we should just tear the whole thing down.
The border wall is effective in rerouting migration, and it is effective in slowing the pace at which migrants can cross the border, which is particularly important in urban and suburban settings. In rural areas, what we have found is it is still fairly easy for migrants to make holes in the walls.
So interesting. So stopping construction of it, though, hasn't slowed illegal immigration. How about terminating the Remain in Mexico policy, which you've tried to do? Has that stopped illegal immigration or slowed it?
Sir, as you know, we are in the process of re-implementing the MPP program as part of the
Yeah, because you're under court order to do so, but you've tried as a matter of policy to end it. So was that successful in slowing illegal immigration?
Sir, as our secretary noted in his prior testimony, his view is that the MPP program poses unjustifiable costs on migrants and illegally restricts their access to the asylum system.
Yeah, okay. How about ending our Safe Third agreements with Northern Triangle countries? Has that been successful in stopping or slowing illegal immigration?
Well, I would defer to my colleague from the State Department in terms of these international agreements, but only one of those agreements was even starting to be implemented prior to Title 42. And
have we seen a decrease in illegal immigration since you eliminated them?
Well, I think what you've seen, sir, is the impact of Title 42 on our border crossings.
Oh, okay. Since you mentioned Title 42, has the attempt to rescind Title 42, has that been successful in slowing illegal immigration?
Title 42, I think, has had a really interesting effect on migration in that, because of the number of repeat border crossers we see, it has actually inflated our numbers at the border. I think, what you're
saying that the Title II restrictions have increased illegal immigration? Are you saying that the Title 42 restrictions have increased illegal immigration? Is that your testimony?
I think that the data is clear that Senator Johnson showed earlier that once Title 42 restrictions were put in place, we've seen an actual increase in migration from Mexico in particular, and that's because of the lack of consequences.
So eliminating it will then, you think, decrease the amount of illegal immigration?
I think over time, once we start reimposing significant immigration consequences on people at the border through our use of expedited removal, particularly for single adults and particularly for those from Mexico, you're going to see it decrease over time.
Wow. That is news. That is news, ladies and gentlemen, that this administration's position, you still clearly want to rescind Title 42, and you think that rescinding it will decrease illegal immigration at the border. So let's just talk about the facts here. Last year alone, DHS experienced a record 1.7 million border crossings. More than 2 million unauthorized migrants crossed the southern border during the last calendar year. In FY22 to date, there have been 245,390 illegal crossings in just the Rio Grande Valley and 195,289 in Del Rio. The number of single adults crossing in these areas is up 75%. Why is it up? Because of all of the policies that we've just talked about. Your policies are single-handedly leading to an explosion of illegal immigration at the border, and yet you're sitting here and telling me that border walls have nothing to do with it, that Title 42 will lead to a decrease in illegal immigration, that eliminating the Safe Third agreements have nothing to do with this surge. Good heavens. This is just remarkable. All right, let me ask you something else. Last week, DHS released a memorandum that lays out your 6-part plan to address the current. By the way, what would you call what's happening at the border? Is it a crisis?
I believe we're facing significant challenges at the border, sir.
Challenges. Is it a problem?
I think there are parts of the border where we have seen particularly problematic flows.
Problematic flows, parts of the border, but it's not a crisis.
It is a challenge, sir.
Okay. Let the record reflect that the witness does not think that this is a crisis. I'd hate to see what a crisis would be. I mean, who could possibly imagine? All right. I assume you played a role in drafting this plan. Let's look at some of the prongs of this plan. You want to bolster the capacity of non-governmental organizations to receive non-citizens after they've been processed by CBP and are awaiting the results of their immigration removal proceedings. You want to increase CBP processing efficiency in order to address overcrowding at Border Patrol stations. I have to be honest with you, as I look at this, it looks like an attempt to memorialize your efforts to help as many illegal immigrants get into the country as possible.
Sir, the third pillar of the plan is our efforts to impose consequences on those who try to enter the country.
Of which you have a demonstrated track record of doing precisely nothing of any consequence. You have presided over the most unbelievable explosion of illegality at the border in American history. And now what you're proposing looks like ways to turn this mass immigration into mass amnesty.
Sir, with all due respect, I think that Title 42 is not an immigration measure. It is a public health authority.
Well, you just told us a minute ago that withdrawing it would decrease illegal immigration. Look, with all due respect, nothing you have said here is remotely credible. If you think that withdrawing Title 42 will decrease illegal immigration, I mean, I invite you to have that discussion with the members of this committee, maybe particularly on the Democrat side. I think they'd be fascinated to hear that. I mean, believe me, I'll help them. I'm happy to talk about your testimony today. I'll be telling everybody about it. But you have single-handedly forced on this country a mass crisis that is endangering children, that is leading to an avalanche of drugs in my state, that is increasing criminality. And for you to sit here and tell me that eliminating Title 42 is a solution and that nothing you have done has had any consequence and that border walls aren't effective and that third safe agreements aren't effective and Remain in Mexico isn't effective, frankly, sir, you have no credibility whatsoever, and neither does the administration that you work for. What you do have, though, is responsibility for everything that's happening at the border. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
and meant it. This is more important right now because our country is going to hell. On November 5th, 2024, we're going to stand up to the Marxists and communists, fascists and globalists. We're going to evict crooked Joe Biden. He is crooked as hell. You know, I took the name away from Hillary. I was crooked Hillary. And now I call her beautiful Hillary. She's a beautiful woman. But I figured that Joe was so deserving of it because I don't like to do it with two people, you know. Two people sharing a name is not good. But he's crooked Joe Biden. We're going to finish what we started, and we will make America great again, greater than ever before. We're going to do that. All of us here today are on a mission to liberate our nation from a corrupt Washington swamp that's destroying America for their own power. That's what they want, I guess, power and profit and personal gain. There's no better example than the most corrupt president in the history of our country, Joe Biden. He's the most corrupt president we've ever had. You see what's going on. And the fake news doesn't want to report it. They don't put it in the papers. This is 10 times bigger, 100 times. No, this is 100 times bigger than Watergate. And they don't want to report it for whatever reason. That's why they have no credibility at all. 5 days ago, the IRS whistleblower revealed that Crooked Joe sat in the room while his son Hunter messaged a Chinese Communist Party official, a leader, a very top person, and said, I quote, "I am sitting here with my father, and we would like to understand why the commitment made has not been fulfilled." In other words, where the hell is the cash? Think it is. It's not like they're doing anything for it. Oh, they are doing things for it. We just don't want to. They don't want to tell us. Tell the director that I would like to resolve this right now before it gets out of hand. And now means tonight. I never knew he was that tough.